Hello. Hello, hello. Wait. Everyone wait. Guys, wait. Oh, damn. Face reveal. Never done this on the channel before at all. How is everyone? Where's the chat? This is a mess. Oh, found it. Okay, hi. Send me hearts if you're shy. Hello, Rumpeltyltskyn. Hello. Oh no. Yeah. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna try today. It doesn't help that I have no eyesight too. So I'm piling on I'm piling on excuses. Doing good drawing comic while watching you stream? Well, heck. Look, my shirt has death on it, and he's got 9 cats. Isn't that funny? He looks so happy. Relatable. I also have a zillion cats. So today is the critique stream, which means we are critiquing patrons' art and writing. It's pretty cheap. I've been told that it's criminally cheap. So, okay, maybe not criminally. I don't think that was the adjective used. It's a steal. You're a criminal if you support us on Patreon because you are stealing. Oh, there's a dog behind me. Look at that. Do you see all of those? Do you see all of those boxes? That's Apple. Wait, give me a book. I want to show them. There's one like right on there, I think, on my. Look. I got a book. Look, it's so shiny. I maked it. We maked it. I did most of it. Wait, I'm trying to find a good picture. Look at this. Look at that. It's all color and stuff. That was a huge spoiler. I'm not going to show that page. Look, there's a cool dog, but it... Wait, I can't see. Look at this cool dog. It's a unicorn dog. But yeah, it's done. I just need to send out the Patreon one. Not the Patreon one, sorry. The Kickstarter ones. And then I'm going to put it in my Etsy and y'all can buy the heck out of it. There's very limited copies. But hopefully I can write book 2 really fast. And then we can all enjoy book 2 together. Wait, what was I saying? Oh, right. So that I can do a second print. And we'll all have a great time, and it'll be so fun. Anyways, as I was saying, hiding in the bathroom at work. Oh, that is so relatable. I used to do that all the time. So, critique stream, theft, perfect, great. We're having a great time here. I think it's a pretty short one today. So I am going to talk about AZ's piece, as usual. That's always how we start this. And I say it's good. I liked it. Yeah, I think, like, in general, I just liked it. The end. I liked all of the scenes. They were all very fun. I love the characters. I know them so well now. And it's so cool to see them interact. As usual. I liked Rory in this. I'm liking Rory more. I liked him telling Des what for, whatever. I think it's just nice to see the other side of him, because I think he kind of like, you know, he doesn't do that like in front of Gil as much. Like you can tell he likes him, but I liked it. Yeah. I was thinking, like, I don't really have much to say about, like, anything, like, major as far as, like, the plot goes. Like, I like that, I liked having Gil and Sarah interacting and talking and showing more of their character together, but also, like, setting up stuff, and I liked... Yeah, because they were setting up like the ladies. You know what I'm saying. Everyone watching the stream totally knows what I'm saying as well. And I liked the French fellow as usual. You may be wondering why the stream is late. It was because I was up till like 3 a.m. Listening to French covers of Miku Hatsune songs. Hatsune Miku. So I'm feeling very French today. So I enjoyed. No, but like I enjoyed introducing that and like setting up the incident that's gonna happen with the cartographic society. Graphic design. That's another one that says graph in it.
Oh, like writing?
Yeah. Weren't we talking about? Because I was like calligraphy.
Yeah.
What was that for?
It was about like how etymology and entomology sound the same.
Right. I was like orthography.
Right, which is.
And I was like, yeah,
words are
graphy.
spelled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, this was from last stream. Completely unrelated.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't really have many critiques. Like my only critique, and I think it's just because this is like a draft, was that things were a bit stilted in places, but yeah, that makes sense. For where it's at. I tend to find like your early drafts, you'll be like, oh, it's bad, and then it's not bad, and then I feel like Ursula, because that's what she says to me. But this time it did feel a bit stilted in places that I would have noted if this were my big critique that I have to do with ink all the time. Yeah, so that is that. If you have any questions, you can question me. I'm gonna move on. So we're going to Nat next. That's not Nat. How do you open it? Whoa. I'm learning how Google works. I like the scene. I liked it. Sorry. No, I like how like it's not, but I like how chaotic it is in terms of dialogue. Like you can feel the flurry of questions. And everything keeps getting tenser and tenser, which is good. Very good. It reminds me of a dream I had last night, but I don't remember the dream. That's a great critique comment. No, I liked it. That's usually what I say. I just gotta look at the script real quick, because maybe there was something. Yeah. It's an expected progression, but it's good. I think that's just been kind of generally where we're at, which makes sense. But there's still like twists and turns that aren't like always predictable or whatever, like the breaking of the staff or whatever. I'm just saying that it like makes sense. It's like a logical flow. I'm gonna let Ursula talk because I think I have run out of things to say. Thank you all. Hi chat. Hi Canary. Have Ursula face reveal. Let's go. Her face is stinky. Oh, she's wearing her little shirt.
I always wear a shirt.
That's not true. Sometimes you wear a dress.
Hello? Oh my god. My short king with his microphone all the way down here. Yeah, slouching king. Well, sit up tall.
Get up here.
Sit up tall. It's good for your back. Hi, everybody.
No.
No. All right. Just joined. Hello.
I'm thinking Miku. Wee.
Phone's in trouble. Weh. Weh. You having French dreams, Bones? All right. Hi, everybody.
I remember what it was. It has nothing to do with what. I have no clue. Maybe it was another dream that reminded me of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a dream that I went boating with Alpha Red.
Sorry, I flew out the mic. That's an adorable dream. I hope you guys had fun boating.
We did.
Did you catch any magic carp?
No.
Oh.
No.
Darn.
I got lost in a mountain for a bit.
Oh.
But we tried again, and then we boated good.
Good.
Yeah. And we were boating in Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hence the French.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the French part came in.
I love that.
And then I think Alpha Red turned into Brutal Moose at some point.
I mean, we've never seen them in the same room.
It's true.
They could be the same person.
All right, that was my dream. Thank you for listening.
Brutal Moose looks exactly like one of our friends, one of our real life friends, who's a lovely writer. And every time I see Brutal Moose, I just think it's our friend Chris. Okay. You're so pretty. Thanks, Canary. That's so sweet. Hello, Rumpeltyltskyn. Ika Hueki. What kind of story pace do you prefer? Depends on the story, really, doesn't it? Because sometimes, like, for a thriller, you probably want something really fast-paced. But something like... I don't know, like a slow burn romance, you want something slower. It just depends. Yeah. I don't know. I guess for what I prefer, I think I prefer a fast pace personally, but that's just me. I have ADHD and I get bored. So. Okay. So. And as for Bones, he'd probably say the "it depends" answer, which everyone loves getting. Okay. So, Nat, is that who I'm looking at? Is that where we left off? There we go. Oh, my screen got shrunked. Dear. Okay, so Nat, my friend. Okay, I have to say it off the bat. Paneling is exquisite. Expressions are so good. All that good stuff. You're doing all the good things. You're still doing them good. Hope that works. It's so hard when you guys send like quality work. I'm like, what do I say? It's good. Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I keep blowing out the mic. I should not direct it directly at my face. The pacing was really... I really enjoyed the pacing for this one. And the body language between the characters. I also love this this panel. I love it so much where you see like the two competitors and she looks so terrified in her picture. It's just her. um but anyways, yeah, the just the pacing, how it shows like the character's mental space really well, I find. And it shows, and I think part of that is like character expression, the way you've posed them. I like the framing of this scene a lot, where it's just the way you have them like framed beside each other. It just creates such a nice little back and forth, like comparison conflict kind of thing going on, if that makes sense. I think it's just framed really, really well. And yeah, lots of nice little back and forth between them. Like this page in particular, it's a lot of like shots of their face just back and forth. And normally I tell people like, don't do that. Make sure you switch it up all the time. But like, it really works for this particular scene because it's so focused in on them and their back and forth, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's good. And I love that just like little look that they do at the end. Like I think you do such a good job with showing the character like progression, like their relationships and emotions and stuff. Like you just show it really well just through body language of your characters. And yeah, just through all of it, it's really easy to tell kind of where everyone is emotionally and what's going on. And yeah, it's just really nice. I enjoyed it a lot. I feel bad because there's nothing I would really change here. Like all the panel layouts really work. I didn't find anything confusing. Like I said, it's all really easy to read and set up really well. Yeah, honestly, this is a really solid chapter. Like, you're doing amazing work, Nat. Keep it up. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer if there's anything you're struggling with and you're like, I need you to look at this. I'm happy to answer in Discord. All right, who would like to go next? I saw Rumpeltyltskyn was in chat. Would you like to go next? Me, okay, awesome. Yes, please? Okay. Awesome. So, right, so you had some character designs to look at. So they're for a comic you're planning, and they're all androids. Okay, and I'm guessing you're looking for... Yeah, sorry, overall character design critique. Do you want me to give, like, the vibes they give off before I read their descriptions? I find sometimes that's helpful when you're designing someone. Just to see, like, at a glance, does the character give off the vibes? Okay, awesome. So for Seraph, okay. Seraph gives me... Okay, so... I don't know anything about your comic because I haven't read the character descriptions. All I know is that there are androids. But they seem to have, like, a magic side as well. I mean, pointy ears. We love, we stan. And he's got these like earrings as well that just give me like wizardy vibes, like magic vibes. And the sweater they're wearing is very like nerd. I'm getting library nerd slash like cozy vibes. So I feel like Seraph is like a little bit intense. There's like some intensity to the face. But also like a little bookish and a bit of a nerd, but very like serious and intense and like fashion conscious, I guess, because like you get all those piercings if you're very like aware of your appearance and want to like look cool. So yeah, that's the vibe I get. As for Terabyte, love that. I'm getting very like a Playboy kind of vibe, like kind of like aloof and cool, if that makes sense. I'm also noticing, like, just looking through them, maybe the earrings are just more common fashion for this, like, these characters. His fashion consciousness came through. Heck yeah. But yeah, Terabyte looks very, like, suave and, like, maybe, like, smug or smarmy. Like, will do little, like, I want to say one-liners, but that's not it. But, you know, that kind of, like, pithy dialogue kind of stuff. Smarmy, yes. And then Sebastian. So pre-cult and post-cult. Oh. Okay, so there is a hint that Sebastian was part of a cult. Uh-oh. Agreed. I don't know. Pre-cult, he looks just very, like, sweet. Like, just very... He comes off as very, like... Yeah, just, like, kind of sweet, open-minded, maybe a little bit sad. I'm curious about the markings on the face, if that's, like a design of the androidiness of him. Like, if that's common for the androids to have that kind of, like, markings and stuff, or if it's, like, yeah, I'm curious about where it kind of falls in the story. And then it's interesting that post-cult, he has, like, a human kind of, like, part to his face. It's like, what happened? Was there, like, an experiment or magic? Like, does he look like this maybe underneath the markings on his face? Like, I'm very curious about, like, what that deal is. If it was a transformation, or if that's what he is, like, underneath the stuff on his face. I don't know. I'm curious. And post-cult, he looks more haunted, I guess. more guarded. Okay, those are my reads. Okay, Seraph, one of the two main characters. The other is not pictured. A former diva android. Oh, a type of android that was a status symbol and dress-up doll for the social elite. He's standoffish, cold, slow to open up, generally distrustful of humans. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I definitely get that vibe of, like, being kind of, like... Because, yeah, there's, like, intensity with, like, his expression that feels very, like, yeah, kind of cold, closed off. Yeah, that's interesting. So a former diva. So at one point he was this, like, dress-up doll. And is now maybe free or doing a different job in this society where it seems like humans mistreat androids. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so as for the design stuff, they have recently woken up, like gained sentience kind of thing. Interesting. Yeah, so I think you've got like the expression down, and I think you've done a good job kind of showing his personality through kind of like the way he dresses and like his expression. There's also I think some of the shapes could be... It would be easier if I had like a full body image of the character, because like personally I find like seeing the whole characters, you can see like their full body proportions and like their whole kind of like fashion look, if that makes sense. Their whole costume really helps with like character, like figuring out their full design for me. But just looking at him, he's got a lot of sharp lines to him. So like even in his clothing, there's lots of like jagged edges, straight lines, like points on like the shirt and vest. His hair has a lot of jagged parts. Like it is rounded. Like it has some softness to it, but it's very jagged. He's obviously got like the very pointy ears. He's wearing lots of like sharp shapes for his jewelry. His eyes are very sharp, but they have this also like, because I noticed with the other characters, like they have more kind of sharp lines to their eyes. I guess more Terabyte does. But it's interesting how it's like, he comes off very intense, but there's also this kind of like softness here and there to him, like with kind of like the silhouette of the hair and like the bottom of the eye. And I'm wondering if, like, you could bring that in more. I'm not sure where you're going with this character. Still working on more detailed character references. Oh, yeah, for sure. But I'm not sure where you're going with the character, so if I'm totally wrong, disregard it. But like, it feels like he's very closed off at first, but maybe we'll learn through the story to like open up and have like a more softer side to him. I'm wondering if you want to like maybe bring in more of that contrast between like kind of sharp edges and like soft curves to him. I wanted a balance of sharp and soft. I'm glad that came through. Totally. Yeah, I would push it more, because like you could bring in even like a little bit more curve to like the cheekbones, and maybe like a bit more sharpness to the jaw. You might need to widen the jaw a little bit, it depends, but yeah, just like push it a little bit further. See where you can really sharpen things and then really smooth out other pieces. Yeah, I especially like it in the eyes, because it's very, like, you know, everyone's like, you know, the eye is like the window to the soul or whatever, right? So like it's interesting if like he looks sharp all over and then like the eyes are very soft. But I think you could push it more. It'll definitely come through with kind of like the full body and like costume choices, because like the way again, you don't have to go this way with this character specifically, but you could have a character that like the way they dress themselves, if they want to be like closed off to people, it could be a lot more like abrasive clothing. The example I always think of, like, have you ever read or watched The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo I think it's the detective character. He's not a detective. He's a reporter. Anyways, the main guy, he's like looking at Elizabeth. Is that her name? The girl with the dragon tattoo, and she wears like punk clothing. It's very like spikes and piercings and stuff. But he makes a comment that like a lot of what she does, a lot of what she's wearing is to like kind of keep people away. Like she looks really, really tough, and she is a tough character, but she looks tough to just say like go away, basically. So like I always think of that when you're dressing your character. Like what do they want to say? Do they want to come across as like really cute and approachable? Do they want to come across as like wearing spikes and goth clothes to like make people leave them alone kind of thing? Obviously he doesn't have to be like goth and spiky, but is there a way you could say he can be closed off, like with the way he dresses or the way he stands and his posture and stuff? And sometimes characters, you could have a character who doesn't do it intentionally, like a character who wears frumpy clothes because they don't think they can pull off something cuter kind of thing, and it makes them look closed off. And maybe as the story goes, they wear less frumpy clothes kind of thing. It totally depends on where the character's going, but that could be something to play around with, especially because it sounds like he was a character who didn't have any choice about what he was wearing. So it'd be interesting for him to play around with like how he expresses himself now that he's like woken up. Anyways, that's my feedback. Do you have any questions about Seraph? In the meantime, I can move on to Terabyte. So Terabyte's a side character in the main story. More important in a potential sequel. He's a former tracker android, a unique model, the ability to track down other androids. As such, others don't trust him and find him off-putting. It doesn't help he's overall kind of creepy and strange. Oh no. Okay, the android equivalent of a drug dealer. Okay. So he's basically like a traitor to other androids, it sounds like. Okay, interesting. He comes across as off-putting. I could see it. I can see it. So yeah, he does have a lot of jagged edges to him. I have a thing for smarmy, sleazy characters. Listen, we love a smarmy, sleazy character. Okay. Okay, that's really interesting. Oh, also he's a former tracker. Okay, so he doesn't do that anymore, but he comes across as creepy. Interesting. I am curious if you're going to be... Because you said he might have a bigger role in a sequel. Is he kind of doing... I'm curious if he's like a villain character or if he's... Because he's a side character, but I'm not sure if he's like helping or hurting the protagonist, if that makes sense. Because I could see him showing up. If there's a scene where they like meet him, I could see from his design looking very like untrustworthy, especially like with the context of like the world and the story. Or yeah, like because I see him and like when I first looked at him, I thought like maybe he's like a love interest character or kind of like a playboy kind of character. Yeah, so there's part of me where I'm like, I want to trust him. He looks kind of cool, but I'm also like, slimy. You know, does that make sense? But yeah, again, I really like what you've done with the sharp edges. Can I also say there's something about the way you rendered his hairline that I love. I don't know what exactly is doing it for me, but it's so good. Just the way you've done the shapes here are just really nice. I don't know what it is. I think there's also really just good contrast between the red skin and the blue hair. So good work there. He's kind of neutral, world building, setting up something that's important in the story. Drivers, android, drugs. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I'm not, again, like I'd have a fuller picture at like the full image of the character, but like I think you've got a good start here for the role he's playing. I think it's looking good. The one thing I would point out, be careful contrast-wise. This is such a little thing. Be careful contrast-wise with the dark shirt and the blue tie. You've got really good contrast throughout. Like I really like how there's like lots of contrast between like the hair and the skin, for example, between like the skin and the shirt. I like how you've got like a nice white or gray kind of vest on top of like a dark shirt. Like just creates really good contrast throughout the different parts of the character. The only thing is this blue is very, very dark on a dark shirt, and it blends in quite a bit. I would just be careful with contrast there. And then finally, Sebastian. So a side character in the main story. Okay, a sequel is planned for him as the main character where the post-cult design would be relevant. Okay, so during the story with Seraph, he'd be the pre-cult. Interesting. Okay, so he's friends with Seraph. Both androids were owned by the same elderly socialite woman. Sebastian was specifically designed to match the woman's interior decor so he wouldn't stand out as her butler / personal assistant. He's meek, kind, sweet. In the main story, he's kidnapped and killed by an anti-android cult. That's rude. That's really rude. Interesting. Okay, so I was wondering about the designs on his face, where it's like, okay, he was designed to like match the decor of this woman's house. Yikes. Okay. I struggled with the contrast. I couldn't decide on a color scheme. I think you can go with the blue. I would just go with a lighter blue to the, like, it doesn't have to be the exact color of his hair, but like it could be a little bit darker or a little bit lighter. But yeah, just keeping that contrast between the shirt and the tie. If that makes sense. But yeah, that's so interesting. I really like the world building you're doing with this. It's really cool. Okay. So yeah, again, I think through the expression and the way you've drawn him, I definitely get that kind of like meek, sweet vibe from him. Like I was saying, he looked just very calm and sweet. Pardon me, I should drink my coffee. From like a shape language thing, well, he does have these like triangular shapes like going on like on his face. He has very like square kind of body language, which gives like a very body shape, which gives a very like sturdy kind of feel to it. Like it feels like a very supportive character, if that makes sense. And I think that's like kind of what's coming through with the sweetness. Like part of it is like he's got very soft eyes and like a little smile and stuff, but he's got these very kind of like square, soft kind of shapes to him. And I think that helps kind of show that he's like very sweet. Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I love the world building aspect of like why he has this design on his face. The contrast in it is also really great. I think you have to be a little bit careful with his hair and these kind of like darker patches around his eyes, because they're very similar in color. the thing is, like, you've got enough around it that it separates it, because you have, like, a bit of his, like, brow, and his eyebrows are dark, and you've got this, like, dark triangle patch on his forehead. So I don't know, maybe I'm worrying over nothing, but I think the thing that's bothering me about this, I love the little, like, swoop of his hair coming down. Like, it's just a nice little touch. It makes him look kind of boyish. But the triangle, the diamond on his forehead, that's the lighter color. I think it's just kind of, like, blending the shape of his hair into his forehead and his eyes a little bit. I might do more to separate that if, like, you really want to keep this diamond shape on his forehead. You might make the diamond shape smaller. Or make just, like, a larger dark swath, like, on his forehead, if that makes sense. Just because it's blending together a little bit right here. But otherwise, I think the contrast is great. Tried to be intentional with the patches to make them work. I think you did a really good job. I think it's just right here, it's a little muddled for me. But I think it's just some, like, slight nudges here and there could really change that. Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully that was helpful. Did you have any questions on these that you were wondering about before I move on to the next person? All good. Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting. This is your first time, right? Welcome to the critiques. And thank you for joining. All right. Ink, I saw you're here. Would you like to go next? Thank you. Yep, first time. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Welcome, welcome. Gotta hop off and wash dye out of my hair. Good luck. I hope your hair turns out awesome. Dyeing your hair is so fun. Let's do it? Okay. Awesome. So right, you were doing some redraw from the comic pages you showed last time. Also, I like how a bunch of you were like, oh my god, I submitted late, but like the... Oh wait, you did. Oh well, I didn't notice, so you slipped past me, it's fine. I thought you did it like 3 days earlier. I was like, what are you talking about? So, whatever. If you manage to trick me, you can submit late, I guess. It's every page from last time redone with varying extents. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I love the atmosphere stuff you're doing with a lot of the pages. Like, I saw there's a few pages through here where you were yeah, where you were doing like working on the backgrounds and stuff. And I think you did a really good job with them. Like, I love this, like, coming across this, like, little city bit. Because I remember even when it was just in the sketch stage, it's just like, oh, it's so cool. And I know through illustrations you've shown and stuff, I really just enjoy, like, the setting, the set pieces that you draw. They're always really cool. So yeah, every time you've done like a splash page like this or a establishing shot, it's always really cool to see. So very good, very good. I like them. And yeah, just atmosphere stuff is really great. I will say, I don't know if I gave you heck for this last time or if I forgot to, but you have this safe area that you've made note of on your your pages. Which admittedly, because your trim line is up here. So that is a very, very big margin between your trim line and your safe area. But what I'm gonna wag my finger at you for is that you've got your speech bubbles outside of your safe area. If you have a safe area, you got to make sure that your speech bubbles are within the safe area. Admittedly, I think you'd be safe. I don't think the trim would go down that far if there was like a mistake with the trim. Usually it's like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. Usually it might be off. But for the future, don't go outside of your safe area. Oh. Does the safe area seem too small? I would say it's a bit too small. I would maybe make your safe area like a quarter inch from where your trim line is. Probably, because you don't want it to be so small that like your stuff is like bumping up against the very edge of your page. Unless of course like you're intentionally like having things come off the edge of the page. But yeah, I think that safe area is a bit too small. I would say where your panel outlines are is probably good. Yeah, because that would be like 1/4 inch or more. Yeah, that's probably like, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, I'd say that's a good safe area. Oh, hey Pigment, welcome. Okay, I'll look at your stuff next. But anyways, yeah, if you have a safe area, keep your speech bubbles in it. That's all I'll say. But I think on this page in particular, your speech bubbles are probably safe. Abo is so cute. That's his name, right? Abo? He's adorable. I just want to, like, give him a little hot chalky. You know? There's just something about the way you drew him. We're like, oh, baby. Abo, my boy. At least 1/2 inch in between the trim line and the safe area I have currently. Yeah. It's a little bit big. I guess if that's like, you want to treat that as like your like most important stuff goes here line, if that makes sense. Like keep really important stuff like within this like safe area. I think that's a good idea because then you're keeping everything like very central. There's no worry about it getting trimmed away. But I think 1/2 inch is a bit much. I would say like 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch is probably like what you want your safety area to be. Probably 1/4 inch. I'll say 1/4 inch. 1/8 inch is too small. But yeah, they're cute. They're cute and I like them, those characters. I did see, I liked that you, I hope I'm getting this right, because I remember saying that some of the action felt a little bit like too pulled away. So I like the changes that you've made, especially like when you add in like the lighting and the atmosphere. I think it really works. Yeah, I think I like the kind of overlap you've done. I like the action feels just like a lot more. The action is most redone now. Yeah, like I think it feels more impactful, and I think it's just because there's more dynamicness in the way you've kind of like set up the panels. The other scenes I added a perspective shot here and there, but other than that, kept the same. Okay, I thought so, because a lot of it looked really familiar. But yeah, but I like the changes that you've made, where it feels like there's a lot more variance between like different shots. And yeah, there's a lot more impact on the action. It's more exciting with, I think, the way you've kind of like, you've done close-ups and have overlap and more kind of dynamic poses and stuff. I think it really works. Yeah, and I found it a lot easier to like follow the action and feel for the characters. I liked the emotional kind of through line that they had with, I can't remember her name. It starts with an N, I think. The purple girl. Anyways, purple girl being like the fighty one who saves him, and him not being able to like kill a monster or whatever. Nira, that's it. I wanted to say Nia, but I didn't think that was right. But yeah. Yeah, I think you've done a good job with like showing the story and emotion through the changes you've made. She uses a fake name Jeff for now. I love her. I love Jeff. But yeah, I personally really like the changes you've made. I think it helps make things really impactful. I also really like how things are looking with color, and your inking. There's definitely just like some good vibrancy that's coming through from your colors. And I think it really, your characters are really just like coming to life, if that makes sense. Just seeing them in color and with ink work added on top. I would just warn you. Trying to see. No, see, the thing I was worried about, which I don't know if I should be. I might be jumping the gun here. Where I was a bit worried that some of your backgrounds might be lacking some detail and kind of, because I like how the characters have very simple line work, flat colors, and again, you might add shading, and I wouldn't stop you from doing that if you want to do that. But yeah, but they're standing out really nicely on the backgrounds that are sketched. And I think what I'm liking is because there's like sketch lines, and draft work underneath it, I think it's creating like a lot of like visual interest behind them, like visual noise in a good way. So I was worried like, oh, if you take some of these panels, like I wonder if they'll have enough to like make sure the characters don't feel like, I guess, flat against the background, if that makes sense. But I don't think I have to worry about that, because here there's lots of nice detail. Like I love the kind of moss and vegetation growing over things. You're playing around with lighting a lot. So I don't think I should worry. I think I'm underestimating you, which is rude of me. But yeah, but I love all the atmosphere work and lighting work you're doing with your backgrounds, and I really just want to see that through the characters. And they don't have to be like full shaded all the time. Like you can have flat coloring of characters and then more detailed backgrounds, or vice versa. So I don't know. I'm excited. I really like the atmosphere work you're doing with this. I do plan to give them some shading, not as crazy as the full pieces. Yeah, I figured. But yeah, it's looking really nice. I'm really enjoying what you're working on with the color added in. It's creating a lot of mood. I like it.
You know.
So, do you have any questions? Is there anything I didn't cover that you were wondering about? Hi there, I love comic tips. Oh, thank you, Tea with Hobbits. Thank you for watching. I hope we can give some good comic tips. characters looking consistent? Yes, I would say that they are looking very consistent. I find it very easy to tell who is who. I love their expressions, by the way. The expression work you're doing is so fun. But yeah, I'm finding the way you're drawing them is very consistent with their shapes. Yeah, they have very distinctive silhouettes as well, which I think is very helpful for telling them apart, and very different coloring as well. But yeah, but I'm finding like, yeah, with Nira, she has some more points to her. There's still some like roundness to her, but like she's got this more kind of like triangular diamond shape, and Abo is very soft with some more kind of square shapes going on. I think, yeah, I think you're drawing them very consistently, I would say. The next one, I think I'm going to do the first half of the first episode. This is the second half. Redrawing their designs a lot has been really good. Does Nira's hood make sense? Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, because it's like a hood that's like attached to her kind of bodysuit, right? Yeah, I think it makes sense. It feels like a bit of a tighter hood. Like it's not like, I don't know, if you think of like the like the Grim Reaper, I guess, where it's like that very like big hood that like covers the face. It's not quite like that. It's more like a kind of tight kind of sports hoodie hood, if that makes sense. Obviously not a sports hoodie, but that kind of shape. Yeah, that covers it for me. Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting. All right, Pigment, are you still here? All right, so you're wondering. Right, so you've almost finished the first fight scene of chapter 1. You want some feedback. Main thing left is shading and highlights. The last time you saw it, it was just a sketch. I do remember it. I do remember this fight scene. The advice you gave back then was add more backgrounds and a few panels and add perspective. I feel like I could add more or not detail. Right, and you wanted feedback on the colors on the background. I struggled picking colors for the fight scene since I was thinking of doing dramatic green lighting. I also chose to make it green for now. Or I just chose to make it green for now. If you have any better picks, or if you think it fits, I'm all ears. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you're finding it helpful. Sorry, I just read the end of your note. Yes, I am awesome. Okay. Let's see. Right, because she goes to the alley because there's a roadblock. And right, and she bumps into them and they attack her because they're rude. Right. And then Nyx saves her. We stand. Right. So I see the green that you've chosen. Oh, by the way, before I get into it, I still love this image of the friend flying. It's just so good and dynamic. I love it. Okay. I'll start with the coloring for the fight scene. So I think the green can work. the characters have a lot of reds to them. Like, obviously, it's not like all red. But you have like a character with like red hair, they have like brown skin. Lydia has some like yellows, like she has some greens in her design, but she has like some yellows and like warm browns. You have a character who has pink, which is like a good contrast to the green. And then when the redhead transforms, it's like a reddish wolf. And then Nyx showing up. Like they have, like it's, like the fur is gray, but it has like this warm kind of touch to it. So I think you can use that to your advantage for contrast by using the warmth of like your characters and foreground colors and keeping the background cool. Because I think you have a pretty cool green that you're using. Well, it's a little on the kind of like warm yellow side, but it's still very cool as compared to like the browns and reds and stuff. I think, what might be causing issue for you, I think, is like a value contrast thing. So the alley backgrounds, like from the cobblestone and like the wall, the dumpsters and the walls and stuff, like they're kind of like a dark mid-tone. And I think it's kind of overpowering the stuff in your foreground. So I would recommend, like, it either needs to be darkened quite a bit or lightened. Yeah, because the problem is, like, the values on your characters are also very kind of like dark to mid-tone, and then you have the background that is very similar in value. So I think the actual color choices, like the hues you've chosen, work. But they're all around the same value, if that makes sense. There's a placeholder. I didn't put too much thought into the values. I can push it. Okay. Right, because yeah, you wanted to do very dramatic green lighting. Yeah, because I like the use of the green, because it does create that kind of like nighttime, kind of like intense, dark, gritty vibe that you get from this fight scene. Oh, can I also say, like, I know it's horrible because it's like a horrible thing that's happening to Lydia, but the drawing of her being pushed out of the wheelchair, it's very dynamic. It's very good. The content of what's happening, terrible. But in like a good way, because you want bad things to happen to your characters, but well drawn. Dynamic, 10 out of 10, action-packed. Feeling for Lydia. Okay. Lol, heck yeah. I like that page a lot. You did a really good job. And I think you've done a very good job with like using... Yeah, because I remember saying, like, add more into your backgrounds and use, like, more kind of perspective in establishing shots and stuff. And I think you've done a good job. Like, I have a very good sense of, like, what is happening, where she is. I like the perspective shots you've been using. Yeah, so I think I really like the content of all your pages. I think it really is just, like, a contrast issue at this point. Where yeah, you can play around with the values however you decide to do it. And I think you can use like texture and lighting to your advantage as well. Because I know you've done like a little bit of shading on previous pages. Like if I'm remembering correctly, it's not like full render kind of like shading. It's more just kind of like... you know, like it's not like a full rendering you do for a painting. It's more like, you know, comic where it's a little bit less than you would normally do. But I think if you really push like using dark shadows, like I would establish where your light source is. So like you could choose like, yeah, very soft shading. Yeah, you could push it for this bit. So like, yeah, you could choose a light source. Like maybe I'm trying to find like a full image of this like alleyway. I know she's like a little bit further in, but say like you put, I don't know, a back alley door here or something, and there's like a little light bulb above it. And there's obviously like street lamps that are like out on the sidewalk, so maybe there'd be like some light coming in. You could kind of shadow the front of Lydia and have her cast like a long shadow to make it feel very ominous. Yeah, make it dramatic. But yeah, I would just make sure that you understand like where your light source is coming from so that it's not like jumping around. You can do it a little bit because like obviously if you need to make a shadow like point in a different direction than where the light source is, but it like makes the perfect like beautiful shot for this one panel, like do it. Use that artistic license. But yeah, but it helps to understand like where your light source is so that you can cast the dramatic shadows like in the same way so it doesn't conflict with like your understanding of what's going on in the scene. But yeah, but I think if you do like a big, not a big, it could be like a floodlight, like those industrial kind of floodlight things that people will put on the sides of buildings. It could be like a light bulb from like a door, or just like a, because it wouldn't be a street lamp because it's in back alleys. But something like that, where you can get kind of like an overhead light source, and then you can cast like very dark shadows kind of on the lower ledges of stuff. I meant to put in a lamp. I put it in one page, but I forgot in the others. That's okay. Yeah, just so long as you keep it consistent. For this page in particular, contrast-wise, I would make the background like super dark. Because you could like, maybe not black, but like you could make this background behind Lydia and Nyx like basically like black, like super dark color, and then brighten them up a little bit, and it'll look so cool just with this like dynamic tilted shot you have going on. I think it would make Nyx really pop, make Lydia really pop, and yeah, and then you just do some like surface shadow kind of beneath them, like because I think like the pattern of the cobblestone really kind of like pulls the reader forward. Yeah, I would go super dark with this one. Yeah, exactly. The darker the background, the better the fire will look. Totally, because you can do some really cool like light effect with it. So yeah, don't be afraid to go dark with your background here. Yeah, and you can use your lighting to very strategically kind of light up spots where you want focus. Because where she's like leaning down to talk to Lydia here, like you could have like a spotlight almost coming in from behind this villain character, so that like her shadow is falling over Lydia kind of thing. Yeah, because that would just strengthen like the position Lydia's in, or strengthen the feeling of helplessness that Lydia's in, if that makes sense, you know? Yeah. Yeah, totally, with the fire stuff, because you could, yeah, use a really dark background, and then there's this like, burst of light from the fire illuminating Nyx here. Like, that would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, these later scenes I really enjoyed. I think the lighting and stuff works really well for them. Especially this like villain reveal stuff is really cool. I like how it's very simple. And you use the lighting effect to create like dramatic mood. I also really enjoy this bit where Lydia's like, just go, and you kind of pull away the background. It really works. Because I know you're saying like you weren't sure like if there's places you could add backgrounds or take them away. I really like how what you've done is you've really set up the setting, the set piece she's going into. Where it's like, it's very clear we see her leaving, we see the roadblock, the road's busy, so she's like, okay, I'll turn down here. We see the alley, we see her going down the alley. I love the touch of just like the dog going by. It's very small, but it creates just like a really nice sense of space where we see the dog slinking by the dumpster, and then we see the dog passing, and we see Lydia coming to the end of this little passageway. Where yeah, I think you really established the setting so well here. And then I love where there's this moment where she's like psyching herself up, and then she's like, just go. And the background disappears, and we just focus on her motion. Like, mwah, so good. I would keep that. And I also like the contrast here. So, yeah. That's my ramble. Awesome. Did you have any questions on it? Was there anything I didn't cover here? I think it's all coming together. I don't think so. I think that's everything I needed. Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting. So yeah, so I guess that leaves Kuroe. Kuroe, are you here? Aw, you're welcome, Pigment. Thanks for submitting. Can't wait to see the finished pages. They're turning out so well. All you guys are just doing such a good job with your comics. It's so exciting when I get to see like the progress as you go, where I see like the sketch, and then I see like the inks, and then the colored pages, and it's so cool. I love it. I'm cheering you all on. Okay, I don't know if Kuroe is here, so I will just dive in. And if you have questions later, please let me know. Okay, so you have 3 character designs for Mackie Roll, which is your ongoing comic. And you want general critique. Okay, so we have Suki, formerly Sueko. With her name spelled this way, I know it's probably like Suki, but I want to say like Suki. Like Suki Stackhouse. Suki. Okay. Then we also have Taichan, formerly known as Takami. And then we have Harlan, formerly Here you're. Okay. Okay. Alright, so you're looking for general critique. I'll give vibes. I feel like I've seen some of these characters before. Like, Taichan looks familiar. Is he one of the teammates that is like with Maki? Maybe. Oh, but he's Irish. And I thought Maki was he's on like the Japanese team. I don't know. Anyways. I don't know nothing about nobody. Okay. Anyways, I'll give vibes. I'm not sure if I've seen these characters before. Oh wait, but they're all wearing green. So they must be on Maki's team because that's their team. Okay, ignore me. Okay. So Suke. I love her vibe. We love a goth / punk. Yeah, very cohesive colors going on with the reds and the black. I love really good contrast through this character. I love how the black in her design is actually just like a very dark red, almost like a maroon. And like the browns and like the her paler skin is like just a variant on the red. It looks like there's a little bit of like kind of like yellowy green kind of brought into the red for her skin. It does make her a little bit like ashy colored. But that kind of works for like a kind of goth character, right? So if you wanted to brighten up her skin, you could bring in some pink into it a little bit, but that might clash with the red, so you'd have to rebalance things. I don't know. But it works. I like the color scheme. And I love the contrast of the green. So having her all red and then having these bright green eyes and giving her the green suit, I think that's just like a really good really good contrast. It'll really make her pop if she's in the green uniform and then she's got this like red hair. Yeah, I just think her design really works. We love those washboard abs. 10 out of 10. Yeah, I just love her vibe. I love how spiky everything is on her. Like, just from like the piercings, her shapes are very spiky. She's very square, despite like she's kind of like a mix of like triangle spikiness and also squares, because like she's got like obviously the square cut to like her crop top, and like she's got a very kind of boxy build, and her hair is very square in like silhouette. And she seems like a squatter kind of like shorter character, if that makes sense. And yeah, and just from her expressions and like her way of dressing and stuff, she seems very like she's like that cool friend who's like kind of a troublemaker. Like she's like, let's go, I don't know, flip over the dumpster behind the school or something. I don't know. Just for fun. But I also get the sense that she's like a bit of a like I think just from her shape language, she just seems like a kind of like dependable character. Like she will be there if you want to cause trouble. She seems like a reliable friend who's just also a troublemaker. Yeah, that's my vibes. That's my feedback. I like her Halloween outfit. That's cute. The only thing I would say is maybe bring some of the boxiness into her pants. I could almost see her, I don't know, I'm not sure if it works for the crop top, because like if you have a loose top, you kind of want tight pants, right? But I wonder if you could bring in some of the boxiness a bit more. It could either be like patterning on the pants or maybe just changing the shape of the pants. But yeah, that's my feedback. So Titan. Let's see. So, love the color scheme. He's obviously like a contrast of like yellow and purple. I like how subdued the purple is. It feels more natural. Not natural. It's like obviously dyed, but but I like how it's not like super neon bright. And it helps make the yellow pop as highlights on him, where it's very because when you have contrasting colors, it's easy for like if you have a bright purple and a bright yellow, like they contrast, they stand apart, but they kind of like compete with each other. So brightening the yellow and like muting the purple, like I think really helps with balancing things. The only thing I would say is he's got so much purple up top, like with his hair and his eyes, and then from the neck down, it's like all yellow. I'd be curious if there's a way to mesh it a little bit more somehow. I love those yellow pants. Like, I wouldn't want those to go away. But I wonder if there's a way to bring in some more kind of like yellow, or not yellow, more purple touches. Like maybe giving him like a darker, like maybe take this purple and kind of darken it. And give him like a darker shirt or some purple highlights here and there. Just something to like bring it together a bit more. Because he feels very like kind of cut at the neck. It feels very different. As for his whole vibe, he feels just like very laid back and friendly. He seems like that kind of like best friend type character who's like always there to like have the main character's back kind of thing. Seems very chipper. But yeah, he's cute. I like him. I love the body language too. Yeah, he comes across as very laid back from that pose. I would also be careful with the use of this purple here for his uniform and his gym uniform. You have a lot of red in the purple of his hair and eyes, and then these are like a very blue purple over here on his uniform. I think it'll like clash a little bit. You may want to take the uniform purples and kind of move them to like the red side a little bit, just so that it doesn't clash so much. Because I like the red in the purples on his like face, because it will contrast well with like this kind of like yellowy green that's going on with the uniform. So that's my advice. And then for Harlan, I love the contrast between like, yeah, I love like the kind of frosty blue for like his eyes and his hair, and then the dark skin. It's just like a really nice contrast. He comes across as, he strikes me as like a rich boy. I think it's just because he's wearing just like this like trench coat, suit and tie thing from like, he seems like a rich jerk. Maybe. I don't know. But he also has this very just kind of like chill expression. I don't know. He's a little hard to read. He comes across as like a cool boy, but I want to typecast him as like a haughty jerk. I think my only feedback for his design is I feel like it's very, I love the contrast between, because like he has this like lovely dark skin and it contrasts so well like around his face, and then the rest of him is very just like pale in comparison. Like he's wearing this like light gray suit, white shirt, his like tie matches his hair, which is great. Love that coordination. But the only other dark touches are like his shoes and his belt. I'd love to see just like a little bit more contrast brought into like the rest of his clothing for this like non-uniform look. Yeah, just something to keep in mind. It's just very pale, and then he's got like a very like high contrast in his face, and like it's just it feels a little unbalanced that way. So I think you need to bring in some darker colors elsewhere, just to balance it out a little bit. Because I think he'll work well for his school uniform. There might be issues because it has the same kind of like, it's very pale in color. But I don't think he'll have trouble with the tracksuit and his leotard. Like, I think there's good contrast and like dark colors there that will work with him, and then same with the gym uniform. But I think he's just getting kind of washed out by like all the light kind of neutral colors. So just to be careful with that. But I like him. He's cute. 10 out of 10. I think the other thing I'm getting from him is he feels just like, maybe not smarmy rich boy. Maybe he's giving that like, okay, you know that like stereotype in like anime where there's that like nice like upperclassman kind of thing where it's like kind of like a big brother role. He's giving me that vibe as well. I think it's just from his expression. He just looks nice. He looks nice and supportive. I don't know. I don't know where I got rich boy other than his clothing choices. So yeah, hopefully I've read them correctly. And Kuroe, when you watch this, please let me know if you have any feedback. And I think that is it. Thank you all for watching. If you would like to have your stuff critiqued, we do it once a month. You can join our Patreon, like Bones was saying at the beginning of the stream. Apparently our prices are a steal, so you can get some cheap advice. And hopefully it'll be helpful. All right, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.